Bennett, broadcasting from Miami, Florida. Tonight we have a continuing hangout in the Boston Medical Series. Tonight we have the pleasure of having Nick Hu. He's the head of a company, co-founder of a company, iDoc24, as well as having a very interesting history, which is really originally why I was attracted to his profile in LinkedIn. He's just done so much interesting stuff. And also tonight we have a guest panelist from Korea, Hee-Young Kim, an ENT surgeon. He's joining us, so this is a real international hangout. So, okay, gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening.
Hello, Hee. Hello.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. It's morning in Korea.
This time is 10 a.m. in Korea, Seoul.
Yeah, a little time difference. It's dark in Miami. Anyways, Nick, as far as your interesting background, let's go over that pretty quickly. Did you start computers at a real young age? Did you get an affinity for computers? I asked this of all the guests.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in the kind of when computers started becoming commonplace in the household. My father was in the Air Force for about 30 years. He was an engineer, and so we always had technology in our house, always the newest gadget in our house. And so I've been around computers my entire life, and I continue to want to explore and seek new opportunities when it comes to teaching myself coding, front-end development, and so it's always been a huge part of my life.
Okay, and then could you just go over your schooling history? You went to Berkeley, correct?
Sure, yeah. I went to UC Berkeley. I basically made my own major there in international health and technology and design. I had lots of interests. I actually wanted to be an architect for a year, and so I basically made my own major in healthcare and design and global deployment. And after that, I went and did my master's at UCSF. It's a fairly new program. It's the UCSF Global Health Master's Program, teaching basically healthcare professionals how to apply their skills on a global scale. So I did my master's there, finished that up about 2 years ago now, and since then have founded or helped co-found the startup iDoc24.
Okay, and one of the things that people ask us about, and one of the things that attracted me to your profile was the Tanzania connection.
Yeah.
How did you end up going to Tanzania in the first place?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, I was kind of extremely ambitious as a college student and wanted to explore and basically take the skills I was learning in the classroom and apply them elsewhere. And so as a sophomore in college, and with the help of the Blum Center for Developing Economies at UC Berkeley and the Global Poverty Program, I basically wrote a grant to implement a motorcycle ambulance system for maternal health in rural Tanzania. I had good friends I had worked with an NGO. They actually run the NGO called ASICS. And through them and through my university, we basically put up a proposal to deploy a maternal health referral system in East Africa. And I spent 2.5 years in college doing that, raising over $15,000, which not a lot, but enough to get us started, and collaborated that up till now.
Okay, and the service is continuing on in Tanzania?
Yes, yeah. Basically, a long story short is that we hit a bunch of political roadblocks, and yes, the service is still growing. And with the help of the doctor there, we were able to get 2 additional motorcycle ambulances there. We're still working with them to get the system up fully functional and scaling to even more regions in the area. However, as I told you, politics and policies and regulations there can be very fickle.
Yeah, you specifically aimed at pregnant females, right? Because if they were having a hard time walking a long distance to the village.
Absolutely. If basically, there's a saying a lot in East Africa. Basically, if you have any complications during childbirth, you already have one foot in the grave. I worked with a professor at UCSF, Sue Ellen Miller, who has her hands in a lot of maternal health issues, especially in the developing world. But basically, when you're an average person living in one of these villages, cities, towns, what have you, the go-to response when you're in labor, having a child, is to go to what they call traditional birth attendants, almost what we call a midwife, except with significantly less training. So when complications arise and this woman who may be in labor, who may be having contractions, needs to go to the hospital, what they have to do is hopefully flag someone down on the road, which, depending on where you live, can be one car passing by for every 12, 13 hours, and that's extremely valuable time, especially if you're having a complication and it could be life-threatening. It could be postpartum hemorrhage. It could be a lot of having breech presentation of the baby. A lot of different complications that arise that are extremely life-threatening.
Right. Well, I guess it was just used for pregnant females. Was there any pressure to use it for everybody, or everybody that had an emergency, they would want to use
Absolutely.
the motorcycle?
When you're in those, and when you're in low-income communities, that question comes up a lot: is why isn't it being used for these things or these other causes? And from our point of view, we want to show it was a proof of concept.
Right.
We wanted to show that this would work first with one model before we expanded and overstretched our resources and capabilities.
Right.
So that was the reason we did it. However, we built in a model where when these motorcycles weren't being used for transporting women, that they could be used, for economic empowerment of local businesses to transport other goods. However, we never fully implemented that simply because we were so strapped on resources. However, models like that are very interesting.
Well, you don't have a picture of a motorcycle, do you?
I do. Let me see if I can pull it.
Yeah, because does it have a side? Why are you getting that up? Does it have a sidecar?
Yeah. So the ones that we used were manufactured by E-Ranger, and they are a UK design company that actually I think they have offices in South Africa.
Okay. Yeah, you don't see too many of those in the States now.
No, and it makes sense because we do have the infrastructure and the resources to provide, on the big full rigs for ambulances.
Right.
Let's see.
No,
Okay.
but as far as a pleasure vehicle, you don't see many people with a motorcycle with a sidecar.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, those were in the, I think, 60s, 70s when you had the old motorcycles and the military motorcycles with the sidecars. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll share my screen right now. Let's see. Let's pull that off. Yeah, so these ones we were very interested in, and because they not only had a sidecar, but they were built for these environments that there weren't any roads.
Right.
So it has improved shocks. It has a maintenance kit. Let's see, there it is.
It's pretty sturdy, huh?
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's wow. Would they attempt to do any intervention like IVs or anything like that, or just scoop and run?
I mean, we didn't do any IVs or anything. It wasn't in the protocol. However, we hope to add that in the for future. But we offered basically simple EMOC, emergency obstetric care services. We didn't want to overcomplicate basically the training of the people that would be going out.
Right.
So our initial plan didn't include IVs,
Okay.
but they plan to scale to that. Uh,
Okay.
so most rides, we start off we want to start off with a smaller area initially, within 15-20 minutes distance from the hospital, even though the need is for those further 45 minutes away. But initially, and I would still consider us going through pilots right now. Initially, we want to make sure we had all the core services down.
Right. Okay. Very good. So you want to tell us about iDoc24?
Yeah, I'd love to. So my newest project is iDoc24. I'm a co-founder with Dr. Alexander Borv, who's a orthopedic surgeon who was trained in Norway and Sweden. And he's an interesting character as well. He speaks 7 different languages, and came over here to US to start this dermatology company. And I joined him to launch the US product called First Derm. And I'd love to show you a demo today as well.
Okay. Very good. This is a first for this Hangout series.
Okay.
A screen share from an iPod.
Okay, let's see. We have this up.
Let me get a drum roll here. I don't know if I have
Yeah.
any.
So while I'm pulling this up, let's see. Should be up. Let's see. Oh, let me 1 second. So just a little background on the company. Basically, Dr. Borv, while he was in the ER, he the radio wasn't really enough for our orthopedic surgeon. They wanted to see what the accident was. So he initially started out with a system where paramedics would send in pictures of the accident. And so his girlfriend at the time was a dermatologist and thought, hey, this could be applied to dermatology right away. So the service is basically it's straight to consumer, so that consumers have the power to connect to a dermatologist within hours. Let's see. Well, this was working so well before.
Okay.
Give me 5 seconds and let's see.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, there's the drum roll.
Finally got to use the drum roll.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Should be popping.
Okay. Enough of that tomfoolery.
Okay. Do you see it? No? No.
Not yet. Not yet.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Not yet.
Okay.
We'll get it. Okay, I see the green arrow. It'll take a second. I think it'll be. There we go. We got it. We got it.
Got it?
Yep. Overview photo.
Great. So right now, so I guess, let's see. Let's start off from here. Let's see if this works. So right now, the camera isn't working on the screen share, but you guys can see my screen, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So overview photo, you take a picture. Oh, let's see.
Yeah, you can see a Band-Aid now. Overview photo.
Yeah, there it is. Okay. So basically, you take how the app works is you download the app on iOS and Android. You can take, and then what happens is that it goes straight in the camera. Let me show you the instruction screen.
Is that a live shot now?
Yes, this is live. This is all live.
Okay.
So here's the instructions, is that we give you the value prop that 70% of cases that we receive actually don't need to go into a dermatologist.
Right.
And you can go straight to your Walgreens, your Duane Reade, wherever you are, your local pharmacy, and pick up a hydrocortisone and ointment. So it's simple. You snap 2 photos. I'll show you that in a second, how it works. You fill in your information. So we ask for gender, age, duration of your skin concern, your symptoms, and we ask you where you're from.
No, no name, right?
We don't ask for name. Our service is completely anonymous. There's no Facebook integration. I'm sure you guys wouldn't want to be integrating your Facebook into this app.
No, no.
And then one great feature is that we also use geolocation. So if you allow us to, if you share your location, we can show you your closest pharmacy and dermatologist.
Oh, cool.
And another cool thing is that we do have a social sharing feature that if you text or email 5 friends about the service, you can get your case in for free. Now, the case, we charge per case, and depending on the urgency of how quickly you want to receive your answer, the price changes. So our cheapest is $25, which is comparable to your copay, depending on your insurance policy. And we have, and that is your answer within 48 hours. Our standard package, which is $40, you get your answer in 24 hours. And if you really need an answer very quickly, we have a $100 price point, which you can get your answer in 8 hours.
Okay.
And so here, you take an overview photo, about 1 foot away. So I have some eczema. I've had it for a while. And then let's take a close-up photo. Great. And then again, here you have the screen where you put in your gender, your age. We'll say we've had for weeks. Red, itchy, rash. Have had it for years. Okay, let's just put years down.
Okay.
It's from San Francisco, USA. So next. And then here you have your overview screen. You can see those 2 pictures up there. And you just hit I agree to the terms and conditions. You hit submit case. And again, here is the options. And what's unique about our system, again, you don't have to use any login or information. You get a unique case number, similar to how you get a airline reservation. And so that case number you keep, you can take a screenshot of it, hold on to it. And another great thing that we have is that we have a lot of payment options. Jumping on the anonymity train, we decided to include Bitcoin as well. And so let's just say I'm going to cancel this, and then I'll show you the answer you get. I already have one up, so we'll delete this case. The answer you get, so you go into this screen here, and that's the top case is the one that we just submitted, but I'll show you this one that we already had answered. Basically, you have the dermatologist answer, and this is the answer you get. Here it's eczema of the hand. Treatment, use 1% hydrocortisone daily for 1 week. Avoid excessive showers and baths. So this answer, I mean, you get within a couple hours. And our dermatologists, they're all board certified dermatologists. We're available in 6 different languages. They can answer these very quickly. It takes them about 3 to 5 minutes to answer each case.
A couple of questions, Nick.
Sure.
The dermatologist really doesn't have to be from this country. He can be from anywhere, correct?
Yes, however, we do want to keep the dermatologist within the same country, simply just for this. We fall into all the HIPAA and FDA regulations. However, we do want to keep our doctors within the same country.
Right.
We have dermatologists from Sweden, from the UK, from Spain, from the US, from Canada, all over the world.
Okay. We have somebody asking on the tweet board, do doctors use it to transmit images of rashes to other doctors, or is it strictly patient-doctor?
So it's strictly patient-doctor currently. However, we have had cases where about 99% of them, a doctor can answer without asking a second opinion. However, sometimes dermatologists do want to get a second opinion from one of their colleagues.
Right.
So we do have that functionality, and we are building out additional services through our app that allow better communication within between doctors, so that we can get this second opinion from another dermatologist much easier.
you mentioned when you first started it came from an orthopedist seeing the site of an accident and being able to more intelligently triage patients, correct?
That's correct.
Um, is there any plans to kind of go into that area too, or you're going to
Um,
strictly stick with rashes?
sure. I mean, we definitely in San Francisco, there's a bunch of startups in the healthcare space that are trying to find a silver bullet solution. And with the upcoming Apple Health Kit that's becoming more and more popular, people are trying to do a lot. And so we definitely have plans for going into other diseases and tackling problems such as diabetes, mental health, cardiology. However, we really want to get the skin model right. We want to make sure that we build a really good user experience for both our dermatologists and our users. And once we really nail down kind of that, that formula, then we'll look into different verticals.
Well, Nick, someone's asking, how long has it been on the market?
Sure. So we launched First Derm, which is our U.S. product, in February, at the beginning of February, and since then we've gotten thousands of submissions every month, and we're growing both in social media, in the App Store, in the press. We've been covered by TechCrunch, by CNN, by CNET. So yeah, hopefully we'll become a household name soon.
Well, First Derm. Now it's available for free on iTunes.
It is. It's on iOS, where we just released our Android last month, and you can even use our website if you don't have a smartphone to upload photos, and get your answer there as well.
You want to punch up your website to show people where it's at?
Yeah, let's see.
Here's a screen share.
Let's see. Okay. Pulling it up now. We have an awesome video on there as well that you guys can check out. Okay, screen sharing now. There it is.
Okay. We take every opportunity for comedy.
Yeah, yeah. So here it is. Again, available on App Store and Google Play. Kind of our features, some comments from our users, our team of physicians. You can see.
Which one's the orthopedist? Which one's the head guy?
Sure, I can show you that.
Okay.
Let's see.
Yeah, show us the team. I'm sure they want to see their face on the screen.
Sure. So it's Dr. Alexander Borv right here,
Okay.
the founder and CEO. He's an orthopedic surgeon. We have Sebastian, who's our chief technical officer. You have me, and then you have I won't go through the entire team, but there's the rest of our team as well.
Okay. Did his girlfriend come, the dermatologist?
I'm sorry?
Did the dermatologist come along from
Yeah,
Scandinavia?
she is actually she's from Spain originally, and she trained in Sweden, however. But she's on our dermatology page.
Oh, she's on the team, huh?
Yeah, she's not on the core team, but our medical board.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nick, you say it's available in the U.S. Has it been downloaded very much in other countries, or is it mostly in the U.S.?
Absolutely. It's so we have iDoc24 is kind of the umbrella company. And we're pushing First Term now just because it's a more recognizable name. But our second biggest after US is Sweden. We're huge. When you type in dermatology in the Google for Sweden, we are in the top two pretty consistently. So we've become a household name for dermatology in Sweden. But we've had cases come in from Rwanda, from Hong Kong, from Ethiopia. We've had cases come in from over 60 different countries.
Yeah, and there's not much of a legal problem with countries like that, right?
No, I mean even if we hold ourselves to a very high standard when it comes to the legal and regulatory. We definitely position. We don't promise anything. We don't say we are a diagnosis. We offer a triaging opinion. So we're definitely operating in the correct regulatory space.
You know, that brings up a question that some people may have, Nick, about when do you start coming into the HIPAA area? Of course, when you give names, what areas do you really pay attention to stay out of the way of HIPAA?
So we don't actually completely stay out of the way of HIPAA. We definitely acknowledge the necessity of
Right.
Protecting patient for PHI, patient health information. We completely scrub all our data that we receive. We ask you for bare minimal. We don't ask you for any identifiable information, especially in your pictures. One thing a lot of people don't know is that when you take a picture with your phone, there's a lot of metadata in there that tells you where your location is, what type of phone you have, and so we get rid of all of that as well.
Okay.
So essentially, we've taken it down to bare minimum so that we limit our, how much information of yours that we actually keep. We still have our protocols in place that limit all the information on a need-to-know basis, of course, but we definitely security has been a big issue in the press recently from Snapchat, Dropbox, password leaks, and we do our best to maintain patient confidentiality.
That's very good. Okay, let me check with He Young to see if he has a question.
Sure.
This is his first hangout, as I said before. Do you have any questions for Nick? You heard that okay, right?
In Korea,
Uh-huh.
we have a legal problem. Telehealth law is not made yet. What do you think of the problem?
Could you repeat that one more time?
Yeah, could you
Telehealth law.
I'm sorry, I don't understand either, Nick. I think what he's asking basically is about the law. He sounds like they have similar laws in Korea with HIPAA compliancy. So that is this platform illegal? In Korea? Is that what you're saying? Is it illegal?
I don't know it. I don't know it yet.
Well, okay. Well, that's a government agency that says if it's okay or not okay to take pictures of a patient's problem.
Government agree telehealth, but Korean doctors disagree.
Okay.
We actually spoke, so we just launched in Chinese a couple months ago as well, and something interesting we found out is that Chinese doctors, we were trying to onboard a couple Chinese doctors in China, and one stumbling block that we were facing was that these Chinese doctors, if you're working for a hospital, whether it's government affiliated or not, you were under contract not to do any private practice.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if this is also applicable in Korea, but basically it's almost like a non-compete clause where you can't work with any other organization, and so that was a big stumbling block for the dermatologist. However, in terms of the legitimacy and legalities of the service itself for consumers, we haven't faced any pushback or any claims of whether it was legal or not for the consumer. That's what's great about us, is that we don't go through any insurer provider. It's direct to consumer.
Nick, you learn some interesting stuff when you get into other countries. But we had a hangout between a Spanish psychiatrist and an Indian orthopedist. And after the broadcast, the Indian psychiatrist, the Indian orthopedist told me that in India, people with psychiatric problems are treated as outcasts. They're not even treated as patients.
Right.
The countries are different.
It's very different. I mean, you definitely have to take in consideration the history and culture I mean, India had its whole caste system where, you know, if you had any type of either mental or physical defect, you were considered an outcast, and
Right.
that was only
Yeah,
recently been
I guess
changed.
that's where the word comes from, right? India, outcast, I think. But anyways, Nick, I know you have to go. You go on a trip. I appreciate you taking the time to
Yeah,
tell me
thank you
what
for having me. This
your
is
interest.
wonderful.
And I'll get back to you with how you downloaded that thing from the iPhone. That's fascinating.
Sure, sure. If you have any questions, you can reach me at nick at iDoc24. My Twitter handle is the Nick Hugh. John, thank you for having me.
Okay, Nick, have a good trip. And He Young, thank you very much for coming
Thank
by.
you.
Hold
Thank
on.
you.